Samahquamicw Alicia Hulbert. Samahquamicw Neath Quepwa ni Laura Purcell ni Quaqua T. Lauren Hans Mutiny Shishpa ni Hidden Wolf, or he's known as Don Hulbert. Mutiny Shishpa Don McGrath. I just wanted to say what my inspiration of being an FPCC project is. My biggest inspiration is my son and my grandma, my late grandma Laura Purcell. She has always talked about bringing the language back since 1985, and she's left me a few voice recordings on, and I swear every time I listen to it, it's a different meaning every time, but I feel really grateful that we come from such a strong family. I feel very grateful that I come from such a strong bloodline, especially of fluent speakers that are still here. It's taken me a few times to try to make this because I was crying a lot every time I've tried to make this because I get emotional thinking about my grandma and not being able to sit with her and showing her what I'm learning right now. But I'm gonna keep it together. It's just, I feel really happy being on territory because I feel like when the last time I was out there, I just sat by the water and I just started speaking in our language, and I literally got chills because I feel like, you know, my grandma talked about how much our ancestors are with us when we're on the land and how much they're there to help us because of us bringing us strength when we're on the land together. I look at it as when we're on the land, it's like giving us power and giving us strength to keep going on, even if we're not from the territory, like living on the territory, I mean. And, you know, it always makes me feel at home because it's my home. As soon as I get on Samahquamicw territory, I will start crying my eyes out. The last time that I was out there, I seen the signs that we put up from last year. The first time that I was a part of this project was with Devin and Kikia, Joyce Snyder, and we were interviewing our elders, and the first person that I got to interview was my grandma Laura, and she was talking to me about the history, and like everywhere I look, I feel like I have a radio playing in my head, hearing the history that has gone on from Pacho, or even if it's from Lil Wat Lake or anywhere on the territory. And knowing that I'm speaking our ancestors' language, I feel like it's like having a pit of fire, and every time we speak it, the flame just gets bigger and bigger until we have this big flame and we can feel all of our ancestors' energy from all the way down to the youngest of our generation because of how of a strong lineage we come from. My grandma always told me to be proud on where I come from, and that's what I told my son and I told my nephews because of, I mean, I sadly was not able to grow up on reserve. I feel like I grew up really in the city life, and I wish I didn't, but I did. But that's something that I'm changing for my son and my future kids is I'm gonna make sure they know how to speak our language, because this is the opportunity that we get to have that our parents didn't even get to have, or our grandparents, especially because of residential school. So I'm not going to take this for granted, because I feel like this is such a gold opportunity to be in, and especially sitting with our elders, because they're our knowledge keepers. We learn from sitting with each other. We learn from listening with one another, and I feel like, I know some people will disagree on how we're learning because of technology, but we don't get the opportunity to sit with our elders all the time because of the world that we live in. But the opportunity that we have to be financially stable and still learn our language language, I feel like it's like living allowance for me, because I get to sit and listen to my elders, because I have such a hard time writing down, but then I can remember how each elder says it. But then I remember on where we all come from and how much we all had to adapt to our environments. And the opportunity right now is the immersion in this, because we get to go on territory at the end of the month, of each month, or who we learned from. And all the teachers that we get up until from the start of this even to the end of this, and even past the project that this isn't going on, I feel like more and more people are going to do it, because there's no more that shyness, and like people almost felt ashamed to speak our language just because of how we got treated. And I really want to inspire people and show them, like, even as much as I'm nervous to be on video and speak in front of people and teach, but I feel like I know that we all have to start from somewhere, and realizing our grandparents, and I feel like I never realized how much my grandma was grooming me into the person that I am, to the things that I'm going to be carrying on after this. And I'm very happy on where I come from. I also do the illustrating books for this project as well, but from what we're learning each month, I draw so that we can look at it, and whether it's from fishing, hunting, and just the other, because there's 4 books now. But I really see how much a spirit has its own way of doing what it wants to do, because I didn't even know how to start. I mean, I've been drawing since I was young. Sorry. But the way each picture comes out, and even just the details on things, I didn't even know that I was doing. I felt like it's like somebody is grabbing my hand and like, okay, we're gonna draw the bridge, or we're gonna draw Inshaksh Mountain, or we're going to draw a certain thing. And then like it was actually really cool when I was sitting with Uncle Lyle. I would draw a picture of my son Morgan. He was in the picture, Huishkwi Mamtach, let's go for a walk. And I drew this plant, and I didn't even know why I drew this plant, but Uncle Lyle said that it was a certain medicine that was used on the territory, and I didn't even know why I drew that plant, because it wasn't in the picture that I drew, because everything is usually from what I took or what people sent to me, so I try to keep it as personal, because it's keeping us as Statlian people and Samahquamicw people. Like, speaking Yuchamiuch, it's bringing me so much positive energy into my life, and I feel like even just the spirituality to it that I feel, and just how much we connect with one another. And just like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. I feel like it's happened for a reason, because of what's meant to happen. And even just there's a few times that I got almost kind of, I felt down for a bit, because I felt like I wasn't learning fast enough, or if I, but I feel like everyone speaks in their own dialect, but it all means the same, because we're all learning, and I feel like it all comes from somewhere. And I'm very excited to even think, like, just at the end of this, I very, 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 very hope, and I will be a fluent speaker, that I get to teach my son, that I get to teach my nephews, my kids, or my future kids too, everyone that wants to learn the language, come learn it. And it's very, I can admit it is a little hard at the beginning, because it's more of like the change up in your tongue, but it brings you a full battery charge of a heart. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but that's how it feels. But, like, I'm sorry for the very long video, but like I said, I've tried recording this a few times and it just hasn't really worked. But I just wanted to say Kukshtun Cow for listening, and I'm a sheesh, have a good day, or I'm a schap, have a good night. Much love.